Welcome to the Hebrew Union College Library's video tutorial series. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over using BibleWorks to read and analyze biblical texts. You access this through the Jewish Studies portal. When you open BibleWorks, you'll see this Getting Started screen. There are links to some of BibleWorks' help pages, but for now, I'm just going to close that window. They also have a quote of the day. Bye-bye quote. As you can see, there are three different panels here. The first one is what BibleWorks calls the Result panel. There's the command line to type in search or display commands, and then the results will be shown in the box below. This is the display panel to either read text or compare different translations or versions. And here's what they call the analysis panel, but it's actually sort of miscellaneous, and I'll go over some of the options later. I'm going to go over various search options in a separate video, but one thing we do need to do from this panel is to pick our search version. So I'll click down here, choose search version, and as you can see, there are many different languages available, but I'm going to choose my search version as the Hebrew, and this will also be the default display version, the Leningrad Hebrew, and click OK. Okay, now often we'll want to see translations alongside the text. So in the display panel, we're going to click on this check mark above our open book and choose display versions. And again, we can scroll down through the various languages and pick some English ones. So I'll pick the JPS Tanakh version and OK. Up to this point, we've just been looking at the text that was last used in this program, but we can very easily change it using the drop-down menus. So we can go through and pick a book, chapter, and verse number. After you've chosen your text, you can use this icon, not sure if it's footprints or sideways exclamation points, to toggle back and forth between the default display text that we chose earlier and the list of translations and versions. Now let's talk about analyzing the text. You'll notice as we mouse over the Hebrew, a short dictionary definition appears, but we can also get the full Brown-Driver-Briggs definition. If we click over in the analysis panel, now when we mouse over a word, you get the full BDB entry. If you hold down the Alt key, that will freeze this screen so that you can scroll down and read it more easily. We can also do analysis from the English text. Although as you mouse over the JPS translation, you'll see the note that there's no data for this version. So let's go back to our display versions. Scroll down to English. And we'll look for one that says with codes on it. So here we have the New American Standard Bible with codes from 1995. So we'll add that. And now when we scroll over it, you see that it refers you to the strong number. In addition to the dictionary entry, there are other resources available by clicking on the Resources tab. Here, if we go through these tabs, you can choose lexicons in Greek and Hebrew, grammar books, and reference works. Then when you click on the Summary tab, it will list all the resources available that refer to biblical texts that you've been reading. So we can click on the Theological Word Book of the Old Testament and get their entry. I want to mention two other tabs in this analysis panel. The first is the Notes tab. In this one, only use this if you have a home version of BibleWorks. But what you can do here is add a note about this portion. And you can save it so you can keep track of what sermons you wrote or what papers you wrote on this theme, or make notes, and it will save it to the database. So please do not add this to the Jewish Studies portal. But if you were adding it at home, you would simply type in your notes and click the Save button. And then whenever you called up this chapter and verse, where were we? 11:6. You'll see that that note appears again. The Editor tab looks very similar. It has a bunch of different word processing tools, and this is to help you write a paper or sermon. So you can type in the box, you can copy and paste from your text page. There's some English. We can copy and paste some Hebrew. The problem is that it's not easy to save directly from the Jewish Studies portal. So if you're working through the JSP, you would need to copy your whole paper and then paste it onto a word processor in your home computer. If you own your own version, it's easy to export it from BibleWorks to your word processor. And lastly, for this tutorial, I'll show you how to read text without all this added screens. We can go to this icon and say New Parallel Versions window, and this will allow us to look at different versions side by side. So we can pick a Hebrew text, go down to Leningrad again, and click on Add. An English text, I'll scroll down to JPS and Add, and we can add Greek if I want to look at the Septuagint, say Add, and OK. So then we have our 3 versions that we can just look at side by side. As with any program at the library, if you have any questions, please ask one of the local librarians.